considering the year we've just had this Thanksgiving, I'm just happy to still be alive. Hi, welcome. Come on in. My name is Aoife, and today I am taking the Thanksgiving book tag. I am doing this to mark Thanksgiving in America, which isn't really a big thing over here in Europe, but any excuse to talk books and talk food and eat lots of food, and I am so in for it. I don't know who the original creator of this tag is, but I have seen it floating around quite a lot on book blogs and a little bit here on BookTube as well. So I thought that this would be the perfect way to mark Thanksgiving. And so the first question is bread. What book is purely fluff and doesn't really have a big plot line? I love these books so much, but here I do have to say Georgia Nicholson's Diaries, the Georgia Nicholson series that was written by Louise Renison. They were among some of my absolute favorite books when I was a teenager, but it never really feels like anything is happening in those books. It's all kind of a lot of her falling out with her friends, her getting with a new guy, her breaking up with the guy that she's with now, and getting with a new guy again, and falling out with her friends again, and then making up again. And it's just a lot of that happening over and over again. I can really only kind of remember one big thing that happened in the book. But overall, it's kind of just very easy reading. The next question is turkey. What book made you want to fall asleep? And luckily, I haven't really had a lot of books that have made me so bored that I can't actually stay awake through them. So most of the time when I'm reading and I want to fall asleep, it's when it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night and I'm getting really tired and the whole day is just kind of coming down on me now and I just need to fall asleep and get ready for the next day. So the next question is gravy. What book makes the whole series worth reading? For this one, I'm going to say some of the later books in the Princess Diaries series by Meg Cabot. I adore that series anyway. It's one of my absolute favorite book series, but I feel like they do get a lot better as the books go on. Like books 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all really great, but I think it kind of dips a little bit in maybe 5, 6, and 7, and then 8, 9, and 10, it kind of does pick up again after that. The next question is stuffing. What book is stuffed full of action scenes? I don't really have an answer here because I don't read a lot of like action books. I don't really read a lot where everything is like very physically active. I read quite a lot of thrillers where the action is still evolving throughout the book and you're still learning stuff throughout the book, but it's not very active. It's more like psychological things are happening throughout the book. And that's when you're starting to kind of put clues together. Next question is mashed potatoes. What book looked good, but it wasn't? Okay, first of all, Justice for Mashed Potatoes. They are my absolute favorite part of any roast I've ever eaten. This is one that I've mentioned quite a lot here, but I'm going to go with it again. It's The Friend Zone by Amy Jimenez. I had such great expectations for that book. I really thought that it would be something really groundbreaking, that it would talk about infertility, that it would show that this happens to quite a lot of people and that you're not alone if you're going through it. And it absolutely just lost me in the last third because everything that happens completely rips the rug out from underneath your feet when you're talking about what happened in the first ones. I really did not get along well with that book, and it still makes my heart hurt for people who have had to read that book and are going through infertility issues and are going through the exact same thing that Kristen in the book is going through, but don't have the same outcome that she had. Next question is cranberries. What book has the sweetest romance? I read a lot of romance books, so I have quite a lot of options that I could go for here, but I think I'm gonna have to go for Angela and Alex from the I Heart series by Lindsay Kelk. I love that they are so supportive of each other. They kind of start out on a very rocky basis, whereas Angela doesn't actually get that feeling from Alex. She likes him, but she's not really getting that strong of a vibe. But their relationship evolves so much throughout the 8 books. They get married, they start family, they really support each other, they move in together in Brooklyn, they find beautiful apartments to live into. And Alex just supports her so much in this move from the UK to the US and getting used to all these new customs and everything. They are one of my favorite couples in any books that I've read. The next question is corn, and what is the corniest book you've ever read? So I'm going to again mention The Princess Diaries here, But I'm going to go with book 3, which in the UK was published as Third Time Lucky, but I think in the US it has a totally different name, like Princess in Love or something like that. They have different names, whatever side of the Atlantic you're on. But anyway, in book 3, Mia and Michael finally get together. And I have a feeling that they intended that to just be a trilogy, and that is where the book series would stop. Which is fine, because it was a really, really great way to have ended the series. But the way that they end up getting together is just so incredibly cheesy. It's really cute to read in that Michael gives her a necklace of a snowflake, and I think they have just come back from a snowflake dance and they watch Star Wars together, and I think that is the time that he sings her Tall Drink of Water and she discovers that it's about her. I love Michael and Mia. They are one of my absolute favourite all-time OTPs. But that origin story was just so cheesy. The next question is green beans. What book is a little bit too long and it just needs to be shortened a bit? And for this one, I'm going to go with 11/22/63 by Stephen King. That was the first Stephen King book that I've ever read, and I have heard quite a lot of people saying that a lot of Stephen King books could have been shortened down a bit. Definitely see where they're coming from with that. There's so much added in entertainment, there's so much added in that it's not totally necessary for the plot, it's just nice to have in the background. I think that book is something like 740 pages. You could definitely cut out maybe 200 at least of that and it would still be roughly the same book. Next question is pumpkin pie. So what book gets you out of a reading slump? I have already talked about how to get yourself out of a reading slump on this channel, and I have a couple of tips in there, but one of the absolute fail-proof tips for me is to go back to a really short book, something that I've already read before, something that I know I'm going to really enjoy. And you know what it is for me? Babysitter's Club series by Anna Martin. I think all of the books in there are definitely under 200 pages long. I can get through them in about an hour and a half if I really, really sit down and just concentrate on that. And I know the stories back to front. I know them like the inside of my hand. And I just know going back to that world and going back to comfort books that I love so much is definitely going to get me out of a reading slump. And so the final question is dog or cat. So what is your favorite food that you would steal from the Thanksgiving table? And as I've said before, justice for mashed potatoes. It is my absolute favorite part of any roast that I've ever eaten, and I have kind of perfected a mashed potato recipe within the last year and a half, and it's one of my favorite just comfort foods, sitting in winter when it's so cold outside. They just come in and make a really comforting and warm meal, and if it indulges mashed potatoes, even better. So those were my answers to the Thanksgiving book tag. If you are celebrating Thanksgiving today, have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up here every week. Now get on out of here.